This is problem 6b on the sample test problems for test number 1. Two types of candy sell for $2.50 per pound and for $4 per pound. The store clerk is trying to make a 5-pound mixture of candy that is worth $17.60. How much of each type of candy should be added to the mixture? Okay, so I think that this is one of these kinds of problems where setting up a table is going to help us. So let's set up a table. And I feel like we have a row for the cheap candy, a row for the expensive candy, and then finally a row for the mixture. Okay, and we need to have some columns set up here too. So let's see if we can fill some things in. I think we need to have a column for the amount of candy. And then I need a column for the cost per pound. And then the final column can be the cost for all the candy we're talking about in the row. So let's see if we can fill in the easy numbers first. One candy is $2.50 a pound, so we can put $2.50 here. The other one is $4 a pound. And the goal is to make candy that's worth $17.60 total. So that $17.60 isn't a per pound, it's a total. So $17.60 goes there. And we want to make a 5-pound mixture, so that's another total that goes down there. And now finally, I don't see anything else in the problem to fill in, so we need to introduce a variable. How about we let x equal the amount of cheaper candy? So the number of pounds of cheaper candy. And you're perfectly welcome to introduce another letter for the expensive candy. You could call it a y. I think doing that makes life a little bit tougher than it needs to be. I would much rather put something with the 5. If you have 5 pounds total and you've already used x of them, then how much is left over for the expensive candy? Hopefully we say 5 minus x. And now we're ready to fill in the final column. If you have the amount of candy and multiply it by cost per pound, that should give you the total cost. So $2.50 times x is the cost of the cheaper candy total. $4 times 5 minus x is the cost of the expensive candy. And I think if we just add those two green things and set it equal to $17.60, we'll be done. I'm going to go ahead and put some lines through here. That one you could calculate, but I don't think we need it. So let's get our equation by adding the last column. 250x plus 4 times 5 minus x equals 1760. We'll distribute the 4. We'll combine the x's on the left-hand side. Minus 1.50x plus 20, 1760. Now we'll subtract the 20 from both sides. And we get 2.40, negative 2.40. And then finally divide both sides by 1.50. So we get negative 2.40 divided by negative 1.50. So the negatives will cancel. I'm not going to type them in. So I'll just type in 2.5 divided by, 2.4 divided by 1.5. We get 1.6. So this is 1.6 pounds of the cheaper stuff, which means the expensive stuff is 5 minus that number, 3.4 pounds. And I do think it's important as you're writing your answer that you also indicate that that top number is the cheap one and the bottom number is the expensive one. And that tells me how much of each kind to make.